What up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger. I'm going to talk about this dark world. And, in this dark, messed up world, we need a whole lot more love and kindness. The world we're in is just, it's severely lacking it. And, people are just going around being so selfish, being so fake, being so weird, being so strange, and I really feel like it's like what I give to people does not come back. People are just trying to take. And when you look at our society from bottom to top, like the principle of loving one's fellow, treating one's fellow with kindness, being good to one another is not being pushed or perpetuated in society at all. What we're getting instead is being a good person is following the government rules. Being a good person is following the religious rules. Being a good person is following the liberal social justice rules. Being a good person is adhering to these systems of society. Being a good person is adhering to the matrix. You know? That's what we get. And most people have this fake version of morality. And they're using it to be like judgmental on people, to be like, you know, you're not following the government rules. You're not wearing your mask, Oh, you love terrorists, or oh, you're being this phobic or whatever or something like that. And they don't use it to be moral at all, but they use it to be really mean and nasty and actually to hate their fellow and to persecute other people and just to be weirdos, And I've seen all this kind of stuff, and to wave their finger at people and be, you don't believe in God or whatever it is, or oh, you're and I mean it's just getting bad, and I really see with like the left wing and stuff and all that, like I see it getting very bad in that respect, in that regard. And the guilt trips that are being pushed by that kind of stuff is really not good. And it's not about loving your fellow or being kind to another person. It's about conforming to the matrix, conforming to the system. And look, they're all doing it, even with the military. Like, I'm a conservative guy, whatever, but like even with that stuff, like always support the troops in every way. And I'm like, what's going on with all these wars we're doing in the Middle East and stuff? Like, I mean, I support the troops in theory, but like, what are we doing with all these wars and all this stuff? Like, a lot of this stuff just seems really mean and hateful, It doesn't seem to be about love at all. It seems to just be about money and control and just whatever. But again, we're being fed a false version of love by the narcissistic matrix. It's given us this false version of love, and a lot of people are buying into it and just treating people so mean and so nasty. Like I remember during when the pandemic first started, and this was before they even did the mask mandate or anything, and some girl just yells out of her car, "Wear your mask," And society is producing like Pharisees like that, and people who want to like boss other people around and stuff like that, and be these authoritarian weirdos, to just be these little Hitlers who boss people around and stuff. And you see it with the left and their guilt trips. Anything you say will be used against you by them and will be used as some way to guilt you and shame you and whatever. And any different opinion you have is used to guilt and shame. If you look at the facts of nature and science and stuff like that, they'll attack you, and they attack each other viciously too. I've looked into some of that, and it's like their agenda is changing so fast that it's just they're kind of eating their own, similar to a religion that's like developing like more stringencies and stuff like that. It's the same kind of thing on the left. So it's like you're never sensitive enough, you're never inclusive enough, you're never enough of an ally, or da 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 da, and it's just like this cruel, back-breaking system of the Matrix. That's the same as how religions are and stuff. And religions have always been out of control, but I feel like it's getting worse. Like, they're becoming cults, they're becoming fractured, it's becoming weird. Like, the whole world is descending into hatred and chaos and weirdness and stuff like that. And when you look around, your average person does not have love in their heart. They do not love their fellow. They do not care about those around them, and they're all wrapped up in some ideology. And even on the conservative side of things, most conservative people are going to more get their ideology from religion. But even on that side of things, like, some of that stuff gets weird too, and cult-like too, pretty quick, and then there's a cult around the military, a cult around the police, stuff like that, and it's just like, rather than just being wrapped up in all this trash from society and all this trash from the Matrix, like, what about helping another person who's in need? What about doing a good deed for people, But to them, doing a good deed is some Pharisaic weirdness. To them, doing a good deed is, or if this is for the liberal type people, I used a sustainable coffee cup, and then people who don't, and they're using a styrofoam cup, and they're bad, and they're ruining the environment, and I hate them. That's what they're really saying is like, and I really feel like people deep in their heart, they use all this crap as an excuse to hate their fellow, And look, I've seen like religious people on my comments like say some mean and nasty stuff, and I've seen religious people like twist up the Bible even, and now they're using Bible verses to hurt people and be mean and nasty. Like, you're forsaking the name of God if you're using a Bible verse to be mean and nasty to someone. You really are. And that kind of stuff I have a special anger for. People that do that are acting all religious and stuff, but they're just being mean and nasty to people. And the amount of hate and stupidity and just anger, and just like, people will hate the person next to them. They really do. Like, in terms of trying to like be understanding and trying to work with people and trying to, be good with people and stuff like that. Like, people aren't trying to do that, People are trying to be weird. They're trying to be angry, and they're trying to just have this shell of false morality so they can beat their chest and say, oh, look at what a good person I am. Look at how religious I am. Look at how liberal and progressive I am. Look at me. Look at me. Look at what a good person I am. Look at how holy I am. Look at how righteous I am. And I am righteous and holy and good and progressive. And you guys are scum. And I hate you, and I want to spit on you, and I want to oppress you, and I want to hurt you, And that's what that really is. Instead of just saying, hey, we're all human, we're all people. I want to help others. I want to be kind to others. I want to love other people, And it's so sad. It really is. It's really, it makes me very sad. And I've done this kind of thing before, getting too into politics and too into religion and too into all that crap and going around and being self-righteous. I'm not saying I've never done this myself, but with these people, it's their entire personality. Their entire lives are like dominated by this stuff, And they just go around just like mistreating people and just being awful bullies and guilting people and shaming people, and just like, these people are just evil. They're just very evil, and they follow evil ideologies, and like, Satan's at the top of it all, And where do you hear to like love your fellow and to be kind to others? Like, where do you genuinely hear that, to like have love in your heart and to like be kind to others and to, you hear it sometimes, but it's in a very like twisted up kind of way, and it's used for an agenda, But where do you genuinely hear just like, be nice to your fellow, like be kind to one another, like try to help each other out, like be good to each other? You don't hear that anywhere. And that's what God wants us to do. And that's the first requirement of God, is to love your fellow, to be kind to your fellow, Jesus, what does Jesus say about the Good Samaritan? And what happens there is Jesus is telling people to love their fellow. Basic, simple teaching. And one of the Pharisees comes up to him trying to trip him up and says, "Oh, who is my fellow?" And then Jesus says, "Well, let me tell you the parable of the Good Samaritan. There's a man going through town, walking down the road, and he gets accosted and robbed and beaten and gets his stuff stolen from him, gets thrown into a ditch. Not good, A Levite, which would have been more of like a priestly, high class kind of person, goes on the other side of the street. A Kohen or a priest, again, high class, highfalutin kind of person. Or, someone, with the Levites and the Kohens, the priests, it's more like they had a lot of like moral superiority. They did all their religion. They really thought, "Oh, I'm this good person," And again, steps over, walks on the other side of the street, and then a Samaritan would have been like more of a lower class kind of person, I guess you could say. He sees this person and takes him to the inn, bandages him up, gives him a little bit of money, gives him some food, and makes sure that this guy is on his way well. And Jesus says, of those three people who love their fellow, the Good Samaritan, that's who loved their fellow, And it's really that simple. It's really that easy. Are we going to help the people around us? Are we going to be kind to the people around us? Are we going to actually do good things to the people around us? And one thing about the Good Samaritan, it's not like the Good Samaritan was posting that stuff on Instagram and Facebook and making YouTube videos about it and beating their chest about how they're a good person and going in the churches and making all these testimonies, or, going in front of all the liberalism and progressivism and saying, "Look at what a good person I am, such a good person." No, not doing that at all. Just doing a good deed because it's the right thing to do. Not because all these people are going to say, "Oh, look at what a good person they are," not to boost their ego, but to actually be kind and to be helpful and to be good to, their fellow. So yeah, I'm going to leave this message here. Much love, blessings, love and kindness. It's the first thing. It's the first thing we got to do. And, yeah, God bless you all.